Raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon me as a council member for the town of Pound, Virginia, for a term to expire December 31st, 2022, and for the other two, December 31st, 2024, according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
I do.
Oh.
Yay!
Feels like deja vu.
It really does, but that's okay.
Anybody need a pen?
Yeah, I do.
I thought I brought one. Oh, guess I did not.
Now I get my souvenir.
I'm going to sign all of these, and you all can sign them, and I just need one copy to take and put on record. And then you all can take a copy to keep, a copy to take to whoever you want to give it to. George is quiet. And if you all ever need a copy, we'll have a copy here at the courthouse in our office.
After you all sign yours, and I can get a group shot of you holding them up and not hiding your face.
If you all just want to sign them, there should be a
That's not me. That's not me.
Those horses, make sure that's mine.
Which one is mine? Okay.
I removed my purse.
That's what it doesn't bother me a bit. Next.
And you all get to stick your finger in that stamp there, see it.
I get them all for you.
Yeah, I'm going to seal them all, and then I'll give them back to you.
Thank you.
Is it okay that my name's spelled wrong?
How's it?
A big folder
I'm an IN.
and like color
We
coded it.
can work with it.
Okay.
Cool. Just bring it back.
Alright.
Do you have an agenda for tomorrow?
Is that what the order said?
Unless she sent it today, or they sent it today.
I don't know. I didn't play
Oh, you gotta go
close
find
enough.
another Kristen Foley with an E in now.
Email and get it down.
Good eye.
So,
I'm used to it at this point.
I was going to look and see if that was me, if that's...
well, I think we'll do a good job.
I hope so.
I do too.
Oh, that's really good. I didn't even see.
T-E-N is how they got it on
That's
the
right.
word.
Ah. They don't know who I am.
I didn't even look to make sure mine was spelled right. Everybody usually butchers my name.
I thought I double checked everybody's spelling before I printed them, but hey. I've been known to mess up a few times a day.
That's allowed.
And you want a picture of all of them?
Yeah.
Kristen, Kinsley.
Don't stand in a line, kind of one at the corner of the table and the other two flanking. One
Kind of black
of
pictures.
you come up there
Oh, okay.
and the other two stand on either side.
Okay, wait a minute.
Like this?
That's it, that's it.
Okay.
And you two come forward a little bit. Kind of turn a little bit. There we go.
Okay.
Kick that chair out of the way.
It's hiding me. She says, I like it.
It's stuck. Okay.
All right. Hey, everyone say, I wish I was on Big Stone Gap Town Council.
Let me tell you.
Got a little smile for you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here's your all extra coffee. We just take
You
one.
did a quick interview with them? Get them to talk?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, next week, same time.
All right.
All right, we gotta talk to you real quick.
Oh.
You want to just repeat what you said last Saturday?
Ditto, yeah. Well, my name's Doris Mullins, and I hope we can get our little town back in order. I hope we can all work together and get everything straightened out and start fresh.
How do you feel about it?
In the same way, I'm excited for a fresh start, and I look forward to working together with everybody and hopefully saving our town and leaving something good for our kids.
Right.
Yeah, I'm excited to work hard with all of my new friends. I hope that we can, agree to disagree professionally through all of this. And yeah, we'll see what the future of Pound holds.
Thank you everyone for coming this evening on this once in a lifetime where we have pretty much a whole brand new council to welcome tonight. First, I'd like to ask that please put all of your electronics on vibrate unless you are an emergency worker and you need your ringer on. Also, please respect and decorum this evening. No one is to speak unless recognized by the chair. First, I will give a verbal warning, and the second warning I will gavel you. And please know, I welcome children to come because this is our town government, and I want the children who are our future to be very aware of what goes on in our town and our community. So please watch your language and please show our children respect and that they will one day be sitting where we are. So with that, again, I want to welcome everyone, 3 new council members. Mr. Baker, if you'd like, I've got a place for you right up here, if you would.
Well,
I don't mean to embarrass you.
well, am I got a legal place there yet? I don't think I'll move up there until
Okay,
Glenn gets to vote for me here.
okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
I just wanted you to be able to hear since you have been so kind to give advice.
Oh.
So again, thank you everyone. I want to welcome, like I said, our whole new council, Kristen Foley, Doris and Kinsley Browning, Doris Mullins, Kinsley Browning, and of course Glenn and Lieber. So this is a new beginning. So if now we could please stand, and we're going to have an invocation by Josh Tompkins, and then we will do the pledge. So please remove your hats and bow your heads.
Let's pray together. Father, we thank you for this opportunity for the council to gather tonight. And God, I want to thank you for the town of Pound. I thank you for letting me be born here, raised here, and to gladly and thankfully say that I'm from here. And God, I ask your blessing upon this town. I want to see it flourish. I want to see it prosper. I want to see you bless it. And God, I ask that you would do that. First, I ask that you bless the churches in this town and the pastors that pastor those churches. I pray that they would. I think the greatest blessing a town can have is that the gospel would go out from the pulpits of the town. And I pray, God, that you would let the pastors of this town preach the gospel faithfully, point people to Jesus Christ as the only way of salvation and forgiveness of sin. And then, God, I ask you to bless the businesses of this town and the people of this town. And God, I ask you to bless this council. And as they meet tonight, God, I pray that you help them to have your wisdom to make wise decisions, that they would have a fear. Your word says that wisdom begins with the fear of God. And I pray, God, that you would put that in their minds, that they need to fear you and honor you and respect you and act in a way, God, that would show that fear. Please give them wisdom to make right decisions, to move this town in the right direction. And God, I pray that they would remember that your word says that they are servants not only of this town, but of you. And that they would honor you in everything that they do, every word that is said tonight, and every decision that is made tonight. That this town would move forward in the right direction. Again, in a way that would honor you. So God, please bless it. Bless the meeting, bless the people, bless the town. We thank you, God, for this opportunity. And we ask and we pray these things in the name that is above every other name. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Being that we do not have a clerk treasurer right now, if you will give me just a second, I will try and alphabetically put your names down. Okay, I will be doing a roll call of council. Hensley Browning. Here. Glenn Cantrell.
Here.
Kristen Foley. Here. Doris Mullins. Here. Lieber Kennedy.
Here.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did not order. Sorry. I will switch you two around. All right. I know that I did not put the agenda out early, but if you would take a couple of minutes to look it over. It is a long agenda, as many of you have seen, but I wanted all of these issues on the agenda to show our new council what all we are facing right now, because we haven't had a council meeting for several months. So there are many issues on here that we can either table or put towards the recess meeting if we go into recess to a later date of the council's decision on having a meeting later. So then we can make this as short as possible.
I would like to offer up some amendments.
That would be great.
I would like to put appointment of town attorney as number 5. Move the BML agreement to number 6. Put appointment of an interim clerk treasurer on number 7. And in addition to I think we can cover it under town hall operations.
You said town attorney as number 5, and number 7 as clerk treasurer. Now, in that, I had also put down lower the appointments to consider and to advertise, due to the fact that I was worried with new council members that they may not be aware if there are any other individuals that may be applying for the job or that are interested in the job. So that was the only thing I was wanting to see if we were going to recess some appointments.
Interim appointments don't have anything to do with advertising.
Okay. Okay.
We have positions we're gonna have to fill, it's just the way it is, but we also have things that we're gonna have to take care of.
Okay. Now, as interim, is this going to be a paid position or is it
It is not.
volunteer? Okay. The only reason I'm asking is because we have to discuss the budget, and if that was part of it, then we would have to discuss the pay, and then it would have to come afterwards. That's the only reason I'm asking. Okay, so you're looking at a volunteer position?
Okay.
All right. Okay, were there any other amendments?
Yes, to recognize the basketball team, they should be here around 7.
Okay, so the basketball team around 7. Is council okay with maybe us just fitting it in right around 7, since we don't know where we could?
I think that would be the best option, just working in when they get here.
Okay, all right. I'm going to list them under other business for now, and then we just, when they do come in, we will recognize them. This is the girls' basketball team that has won state, so we want to recognize the Central basketball team. Okay. Are there any other amendments to the agenda? Gwen, do you have anything? Kristen? Okay. All right.
I would move to approve the agenda as amended.
All right. Okay. So, Kinsley?
Yes.
Glenn?
Yes.
Kristen?
Yes.
Lieber?
Yes.
Doris?
Yes.
Okay. So moved. VML, okay, town attorney.
So at this point, I would move to appoint Greg Baker as the town attorney. Greg has been helping us on a pro bono basis, and I just feel like he is the best option for that position.
Any other discussion?
I'll second that. Is that what we do now?
No other discussion? Okay. Okay, Kinsley?
Yes.
Glenn?
No, due to the fact that he said he wasn't gonna work for us because it was a hot mess.
Okay. Kristen?
Yes.
Doris?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I went out of order.
I don't
Lieber?
care when you call me, as long as you call me. I'm a yes.
Greg Baker, if you would consider coming up here.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I would also prefer that the motion include a local government consultant too, in addition to the town attorney, if that's okay.
Local.
Absolutely. I'm happy to amend the motion to add that he is a local government consultant as well.
Would you mind writing that in for me so I...
Absolutely.
Thank you. So then it can be... Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council, and
Do we need to re-vote on that?
just add it into the minutes. I think the vote's the same. Madam Mayor, now that I can actually be here officially and help you in an official way, if I could just have a moment of personal privilege here. I want to say that first of all, I want to say that many of you know here in town, that I have volunteered for a good bit now, trying to help the town get on its feet. And you all have obviously had a tough time, but I can assure you that I believe that better days are ahead for the town of Pound. I told you that my fondness for the town of Pound grows from being a little boy and coming to the Pound with my mom to shop when I was just a youngster. Now here I am 62 years later, old and broke down, but I'm glad to be over here from Clintwood to try to help the town. I currently serve as town attorney, or my law firm does, for the towns over in Dickinson County. I'm serving my father's unexpired term as honorary mayor in Clintwood, who passed away after 41 years in that position. I've represented a lot of towns, counties, school boards, public service authorities, community service boards, all kinds of local government, done a lot of local government training with VACO and VML and other people in the past. I've worked closely with the General Assembly on laws that affect local government in Virginia. I've been called on to testify at the General Assembly on laws that affect local government. I've taught local government law at 3 different law schools in Virginia, including the College of William & Mary, which is a top law school in the country. So I've had a lot of experience, for whatever reason that is, in this area. And so I have volunteered my time, and I have not charged 1 cent to the town for anything that I have done. And that, I don't say that to pat myself on the back, I say that simply as a fact. And I'm here because I want to be here. I'm not here because I have to be here. I don't have to be here. In fact, I could be doing something else tonight. Let me say to Glenn, Glenn is a fine public servant. I've known Glenn for a number of years. I've known his family. He is to be commended for the role that he's played for many, many years in emergency services with the town of Pound, and his service on the town council. And I do commend you, Glenn, for your work, and I respect you a great deal.
I appreciate that.
And what Glenn was referring to was when I said it was a hot mess and that I didn't want to be the town attorney. In my opinion, at that moment in time, it was a hot mess. Because I don't think I have to explain why. And I'm not going back, and nor will I, as the parliamentarian now, since I'm the town attorney, I'm also the parliamentarian of the council. I'm not going to allow, if there's anything I can do about it, to go back into the hot mess that you came from.
Yep.
Because if you go backward into the hot messes, our mission will fail. And our mission is what was said in Invocation tonight. And that is that the town move forward in a productive way for all its citizens. I congratulate all of our new council members. I've known Doris. I look forward to knowing Kinsley and Kristen Stoley better in our working together. I respect you all very much for being willing to step up and assume the judge's appointment. Liebren, of course, has gotten started on council as a special election, and she's of course been carrying a big load, and and now she and Glenn have got some help. And the mayor has help, and the mayor has been here now. I guess this is in her second year, of her first term. And I know it's been a hard road for all of you. But here's my advice to everyone tonight. Is you do have a lengthy agenda. I cannot stress too much that we need to take baby steps. The problems of the town of Pound cannot be solved in one meeting, nor will they be solved in two. What I would like to say to council is what we, or you as a council and mayor, need to be able to show and prove is that you can work through an agenda, you can orderly and efficiently get through business and do the basic business of a governing body in a professional and efficient manner. Therefore, you don't want to bite off more than you can chew in any one night. We've got 3 new council members here that have not had orientation, nor have they had any training. Now, orientation, well, Ms. Kennedy says she's not had training. That's on that is on the agenda for tonight, and I will address that under the FOIA and COIA training, and also I will address new board orientation and what that means. So until the new members, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, I just mean this in a very respectful way, that until you have your new orientation, new training, board orientation, and some training on different things, some of this may be Greek to you. But thank God there are good people who have been willing to put their name in the hat to be considered, and the circuit judges of this circuit, all 4 of them, unanimously appointed this group to give you now back a full working council. And so you can disagree, and I'm sure that you will disagree on some things. Nobody ever, I always said if there's more than one person in the room at a time, there'll be disagreement. However, we have to learn to disagree agreeably or in a professional manner. There should not be any name calling. And I'm going to comment on what sort of the rules of the road will be here from now on, as long as I'm here, and that is there'll be no name calling by members of council or by the public. That will not be tolerated. There will be no allegations or accusations made toward anyone on this council by council members or by the public. There will be no going back over, as I said, all the problems of the past, because they are of the past. And they will not serve you well by digging back into that, I can assure you. We will be moving forward, as the mayor said, in making the town of Pound great again, let's say. It's already great, we can make it greater again. When it comes time for people to speak, and there's always an opportunity for public comment. The public comment, when you come to the lectern, you should give your name and address so it can be recorded in the minutes. You'll be given 3 minutes to comment. That's what is normal, because we can't let people go on all night or you'll be here all night. When council comments, they'll be limited to 5 minutes. Sometimes council doesn't have any comments at the end. That's the way that we work. When council is discussing matters, it's not appropriate for the audience to interrupt, because that is the business of the council. If you wish to have more time than 3 minutes, then in the future, you would call and get on the agenda. And you would be on the agenda, and then you could have a sufficient amount of time would be allotted for you on the agenda. But just to get up every meeting and talk for 30 minutes, that, if everybody in the room does that, then we'll be here till the cows come home, the old saying is. So we have to have some order and structure to the meetings so that we can get through it in an efficient manner again. Yes, people are watching. People are watching exactly how this group is going to govern. And that's what you're called upon to do, is govern. And I can assure you, there's one thing I can assure you, if you govern well, as I know that you can, and the things get done that are basic governmental functions, then the town of Pound will never have an issue with losing their charter. I can say that with all, with a lot of confidence. However, if you do decide to go back into the past and operate as, and I'm not pointing blame at any one person, please let me say that. There's enough blame here, in my opinion, from what I've observed as an observer. There's a lot of blame to go around. And so the blame game is over. It's got to be over. If you want to save the town, it's moving forward with baby steps. One thing at a time, and marking one thing off the list and then moving to the next thing. And if you do that, this town will prosper. You'll be proud of it, prouder than ever, and you will never lose your charter. So, with that being said, Madam Mayor, I appreciate the confidence that you all have bestowed in me to try to assist you as your counsel and as your consultant with the help of VML, which I know we're going to take up here just in a minute as well. And I do look forward to working with each and every one of you, and I want each and every one of you to feel comfortable and free in working and talking with me. Because one thing you'll learn about me is that I am a tell it like it is kind of person. I'm not going to tell you something that's wrong if I can help it, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it either. I'm not going to tell you something I think you want to hear. I'm going to tell you the way that it really is, and maybe sometimes what you need to hear. So, again, thank you all so much for allowing me to be a part of this effort, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Greg. Okay. Moving on to the VML agreement. I was not able to get it copied off. I know that Leyburn and Glenn are aware of the agreement.
I got this.
Okay. Did you make copies for?
No, I have a couple of copies. I think we need an original, and I think we need one to send to VML. Where did I put my papers? I have 3 copies for us to sign. Would you like to read it? Would you like me to read it? What do you want to do?
I'll let you go ahead.
Okay, so agreement for services. Whereas the town of Pound is experiencing many challenges related to essential governance, and whereas the mayor and the Pound Town Council seek assistance in restoring the town of Pound to a healthy, functional status, and whereas the Virginia Municipal League has assembled a team of professionals who are experienced, willing, and able to assist the town of Pound. Now, therefore, the parties agree as follows. 1, we agree that the town of Pound requires assistance in reestablishing functional governance. 2, we agree to follow federal, state, and local laws at all times. 3, we agree to be respectful and courteous to one another as well as those individuals assisting us. We will not use our positions as elected officials for the purpose of settling personal differences or seeking revenge. We agree to select from options that meet the legal requirements that are provided to us. 5, we agree to participate in any and all trainings that may be recommended for us for our benefit. 6, we agree to abide by the Virginia Freedom of Information Act and the State and Local Government Conflict of Interests Act, and we agree to promptly cooperate in providing records that may be requested by a member of the team. 7, we recognize and agree that the welfare of the town of Pound is more important than personal agreements or differences, and we will work together amicably. 8, we will not use our positions as elected officials as a platform to embarrass one another or seek retribution or revenge for perceived past wrongs. 9, we accept responsibility for the current state of affairs in the town of Pound, and we are committed to working together as a team so as to prevent the town's extinction. 10, we agree that during meetings we will not make personal attacks on one another. In signing below, we acknowledge that in the event that any one of the above provisions is breached, we forfeit our eligibility for assistance, and we understand that the consequences may be the revocation of the town's charter and/or potential personal and municipal liability. So the one thing that was not included in the agreement was lines with everybody's names to sign. So when I spoke with Michelle, she said, yeah, that's fine, add that in there. So at this time, I would move that we accept the agreement that the VML has put forth to us.
Okay, so I will do a roll call.
Okay, let me add, Madam Mayor, just before you vote, let me explain to the audience what the VML agreement is and who the VML is. The VML is the Virginia Municipal League. Every city and town in the Commonwealth of Virginia has the opportunity to join the Virginia Municipal League. As far as I know, every city and town that exists in the Commonwealth is a member of the Virginia Municipal League by paying its dues. They are a group of basically experts as well that have worked in local government law in Virginia for many, many years. They offer guidance, training, advice, and counsel, and many other things as you request them, as a town or city may request. They have stepped up and have offered, knowing the dire situation that the town was in, to offer their help without the town having to really ask for the help. But they did want an agreement in place, such as what Lieberman read, so that they could ensure that there would be accountability, transparency, and professionalism. And that sort of goes along with what I said a minute ago, because that's what I'm going to require as well as the town attorney and legal consultant and working with VML, who I've worked with for many times in the past. And my accountability is if misbehavior occurs, you'll see me go through that door so quick and I'll never be back. Okay, so that's the way that works. With me, with them, they'll just cut off services. And so anyway, I don't expect any of that to happen, but I wanted the audience to understand who VML is. We refer to them as we know who they are. But everybody now will know who they are. So I think, Madam Mayor, you have a motion and a second on the floor.
Yes. Okay. We will do, was there any discussion by any of council? Okay. All right, roll call. Kinsley?
Yes.
Glenn?
Yes.
Kristen?
Yes.
Lieber?
Yes.
Doris?
Yes.
And I believe I also need to say yes to this.
Yeah, I think they asked for the mayor to sign off on this as well.
Yes.
So this will need to be signed by each council member.
So here is my suggestion. I would suggest we keep a copy with the record, a copy go to via mail, and then we have another original, one copy to go with the minutes, and there, you've got two there. If you want to pass those around, that's that motions.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, and Kristen will sign here, and we'll just pass them on down.
Okay.
This one for you. I just got mixed in with papers.
Thank you, thank you. You are so sweet, And, you know, maybe we can get Cindy to make copies for everybody so that we all have our own copies.
Normally, the original document or something like this would stay with the records, stay with the minutes, and I'm sure Michelle and VML will accept a copy.
That's fine.
And each of you all should have a copy as well.
I can go ahead and
But that can be done after everybody signs off tonight.
Well, that is in the works. And so, oh, okay, these can go down. Yes. All right, as everyone is signing, let me just take a moment. The FOIA and COIA, Greg, would you like to explain it? I did make sure and get out, and I ordered books for each of the council members and myself. So everyone has a copy of this book, and I do have a few extras that I will be holding on to. Yeah, I was gonna hold on to them.
Okay, Madam Mayor,
Yes.
on the training item on the agenda, I mentioned board orientation, Freedom of Information Act, and conflict of interest. Also, I would talk about the public procurement laws. By statute, the town attorney is required to provide new members training, board orientation, as to procedure, as to how board meetings work, and what your role is, and that sort of thing. The town attorney is also required to give you training on the Freedom of Information Act. And then there is a state statute that requires all council members every 2 years to complete conflict of interest law training. There's modules on the state conflict of interest act website, and those modules you have to go in and make an account and log in, and you have to do this every 2 years in order to keep your seat on local government. So I don't know how many people have followed that or done that in the past, but I'm just telling you that's what the rules are, and that's what I would expect that we will go by. So the first thing that you will do the conflict of interest act training yourself online. Okay, and those are the modules that are provided by the Conflict of Interest Advisory Council. You will get a certificate or a printout showing that you've done that. Once you've done that, that printout should be housed in the records here at Town Hall showing the date that you completed the Conflict of Interest Act training. If you do not do that timely, then you could be putting your seat at risk. Okay? So I just wanted to mention that. You all do that on your own. The board orientation training and the FOIA training, that's my responsibility. And I will agree to do that free of charge. Once again, to all the new members, and the only thing and the old members, if you've not had the training, you're supposed to have it. And so anybody that wants to participate as a member of this body, I would welcome to participate. The only thing we need to do now tonight, I think, is to set a date for that training.
Okay.
Because I would like for that to get done sooner rather than later.
Okay. Do you have a date in mind?
Well,
Could we do it next Tuesday on the 22nd?
I am available on the 22nd in the evening. I know that everybody's got things to do on the 22nd. I don't know what people's schedules are.
And may I ask, if we have all of council together, do
Yeah.
we have to?
We'll recess to that day, and then that will take care of, there'll be no special meeting called because we'll be in recess for the training.
Okay,
And so, that'll be fine. That's the way we do it.
all right. What time?
So but now does that work for everyone? Because I want that to work with everyone's schedule. I don't want that to be not something that doesn't work out for everyone.
Does anybody have a conflict with that?
Glenn, do you know?
Next, the 22nd, so do you want to say 6 o'clock? It'll probably take about 90 minutes.
Can we say 6:30, because I don't get off till 6 o'clock?
6:30, probably take 90 minutes, is about what the training will take.
6:30.
So 6:30 on the 22nd, that's when we'll put down, make a note that the council will recess tonight until that day and time. Instead of adjourning tonight, you will recess.
Okay.
And that'll be for the purposes of the new board orientation, old board orientation, and the FOIA training that's required. Okay, so thank you very much.
Just know, normally there is a cost if we were to get the training through VNL. There is a cost if it's normally a little over $100. So thank you so much.
Yeah, this will be free. I'm not charging for my time, not charging just like tonight. It's free. Can you believe a lawyer does anything for free?
No.
Anybody here believe that?
Greg, you better watch out.
That's all it is. Free, pro bono.
Okay. All right, thank you so much, Greg. Okay.
We did
Next.
miss the interim appointment.
No, you said number 7, so I'm doing that right now.
Yeah, that was, well, it's okay, it doesn't matter.
Oh, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Okay, clerk treasurer interim, as a volunteer, go ahead.
Yeah, I would move to appoint Linda Mead as our volunteer interim clerk treasurer. She has volunteered to help 1, maybe 2 days a week and try and get us back on path. She did ask that we put a time period on it. So what I would say is move that she do that for 6 months or less. Once we get somebody hired in here, then and they're trained, then obviously she wouldn't be needed.
Is there any discussion? Are all of our council members, the new ones, are you familiar with who she is? Krista? Are you familiar? Okay, all right. Do you feel comfortable voting on this evening? Yes. Just want to make sure. Glenn, are you okay with voting on this? Okay. And you're talking about a 6-month interim?
No longer than 6 months.
No longer, okay,
Part-time interim is the way it should be worded
okay.
in the minutes.
Part-time interim.
Part-time interim.
Would you like to also put that on here? And so
That you just, so it's in the record. Are you taking the minutes, Stacy? I see you probably.
I'm trying very
Okay.
hard. We do have someone, but we have not
Part-time
appointed that.
interim.
We haven't appointed that person either.
So let's do part-time interim.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we will vote on it.
You have to
Kinsley?
have a second.
Oh,
I second.
okay, all right. Any other discussion? Kinsley?
Yes.
All right. Glenn?
I'm going to abstain.
Okay, all right. Kristen?
Yes.
Okay, Lieber?
Yes.
Doris?
Yes.
Okay. Okay,
Motion carries.
yes. All right. Elections of council and mayor. This is regarding the fact that the elections for the state of Virginia will be, most towns have moved them to November instead of taking place in May.
State law, when it was passed last session of the General Assembly, not this session, but in last session of the General Assembly last year, legislation was passed that moved all town municipal elections to November rather than the normal May elections that you all have been used to for so many years. The reason for that was to cut down on the cost of elections to small towns who are watching every penny they spend, like the town of Pound, so that their expense of holding an election would be borne along with the county election or state election, whatever's on the ballot in November. So it will cost the towns less money to have elections in November when you're voting on everything else than it would to have a separate election in May where the town has to incur 100% of the cost of the election. So it's state law anyway, but the town is supposed to pass an ordinance. And so to pass an ordinance, you have to have a public hearing. And you've never been able to do that because you haven't had a quorum. So what I would be asking you to do tonight is to motion and pass the advertisement for a public hearing at the April council meeting, the regular meeting in April. To have a public hearing on an ordinance moving the town of Pound's municipal elections from May to November, beginning November 2022. Okay? So that's what I'm asking for tonight. That's our first step, is a motion to advertise and to hold a public hearing at the regular April meeting for the purposes of considering public input. Although there's really not any real options here, we could be mandamus, and that means we could be forced to move them even if we don't do it on our own. We don't want to do that. Every other town in Wise County's already moved it. Every town in Dickinson County's moved it. Every town everywhere I know of has moved them in the state. So we need to get ours done too. So I will prepare an ordinance, of course, again free, and I will prepare the notice of public hearing. And I think I've already given some of you that at the last meeting when you wasn't able to complete your meeting or wasn't able to conduct a meeting. But I'll re-look at that. But we do need a motion. I would like to see that in the minutes that you're advertising for the public hearing.
Okay, so I would move to advertise for a public hearing at the April 19th meeting to move the town elections from the month of May to the month of November with the general election, the advertisement to be done per FOIA requirements.
Second. All right. Is there any discussion? All right. Kensley?
Yes.
Glenn?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Lieber?
Yes.
And Doris?
Yes.
So moved. All right.
Thank you all very much. That's very helpful and shows great progress.
Do we need a second motion in order to pay for the advertisement in the newspaper?
It'll be in the bills to come in next month and you approve them.
Okay, all right.
As an experience.
Okay, now moving to current financial status. Signature on accounts. Who would like to address this? Lieber? Would you like to address it?
I might as well.
Okay.
You know, we don't have a clerk, treasurer, Linda is gonna be an interim, we're gonna have to hire somebody, but me personally, I feel like the Foxes have been left in charge of the in-house for far too long. And it is, I think we should put 3 or 4 council members as signers on the checking accounts. And then once we get a clerk treasurer, certainly we could add and back it down, but I still think we need to keep a handle on things, you know, that's something we can reevaluate at that time. Is there anybody who desires to be signers?
Greg, what, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, what would you recommend legally on the issue of signatures?
On the issue of signatures, on public disbursements and vouchers, there's a state audit requirement that at least 2 signatures. That's the rules of the road.
Are required.
That are required. Doesn't mean you can't have more. Normally, ever who the clerk treasurer is would be 1 signatory, and then there would at least be 1 other local elected official, or you can have 2 or whatever. You can, but you will run into problems where the bank can only put so many lines on your checks. From a practical standpoint.
Well, I mean, as far as the checks, I'm good with 2, but I think as far as people who are authorized to sign on the check.
Sometimes somebody's not available and you need to rotate in and out.
Right.
So I think the resolution that you're really passing, that's what you're passing, is a motion which is in the form of resolution to authorize signers. Right now you don't have a clerk treasurer, well, you have a part-time one. Do you foresee that Ms. Meade would be 1 signer now during her interim post, Ms. Kennedy, or not?
I would rather not.
Okay, so your proposal is that she would not be a signer at this point.
Right.
So your proposal is that council members, everybody, whoever wants to go to the bank basically and sign the signature card, is that what you?
Either 3 or 4 of us.
I mean, whatever. That's up to you all, but we definitely need 2.
I'm good with 3.
Now, I will say, because I do want it known, that I was misled by the bank. I had thought that the 1 signature, because I was trying to pay all the bills, so I want everyone to know in accountability and transparency that I made the mistake, because the bank did advise me that when we are such a small entity, that I could do something like that.
Well,
So
you had no choice.
it was my misunderstanding.
You had no other real good choice in the immediate past. However, again, best practices going forward,
Right.
2 people sign on the check, and that can be anybody you all, or as many of you all want to authorize and be responsible and go to the bank and sign the card.
Now, the bank will need the minutes from tonight's meeting.
They will need.
And they will also need either myself or possibly you to write up a thing saying who's going to have.
Yeah, they
who's
would
going to be on the
require that,
signature.
yes.
So, is there anybody that would like to step up?
In other words, who wants to sign checks?
It can be nobody.
Come on, Doris.
I say all of you.
I sign everybody's checks.
Well, Doris, if you would feel comfortable with that, since, would you mind that? Would you mind?
I'll sign them.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Kristen?
Okay, thank you.
So we're going to authorize, who now is going to be?
Kristen.
Kristen is willing to be a signer.
And
Doris
Doris
is willing to be a signer. Who else is willing to be a signer? Did you need any?
I'll play the 3rd if
You'll be.
nobody else is gonna step up.
Okay,
What about Mr. Cantor? Does he want to
What about
be
him?
a signer?
okay,
Okay, he does not.
okay.
And what about, you want to be a signer?
I will, but if neither one says she can.
Okay.
I mean, I don't care.
You think
It
we-
don't matter.
This way, we are covered no matter what.
And again, we don't have to have 4 people sign the check, we just have to have a certain, you'll all be authorized, whoever's agreed to sign and goes to the bank to sign, but you won't have to have but 2 to actually sign off.
Right, you two may be available when us two aren't, or we may be available when you two aren't, so.
So that I draw the resolution properly, it's going to be Kristen, Lieber, Doris, and
Kinsley.
all 4, so the 4 of you all would be the authorized signers. Okay. I want to make sure the resolution's properly drawn to present to the bank.
Do I need to?
So that will need to be placed in the form of a motion and voted on to approve it.
Okay, I would move that authorized signers for the checking accounts be Lieber and Kennedy, Kristen Foley, Kinsley Browning, and Doris Mullins.
Second. Okay. All right. Is there any other discussion? Kinsley?
Yes.
Glenn?
Yes.
Kristen?
Yes.
Lieber?
Yes.
And Doris?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Bills to be paid and the line of credit debt. I accidentally put a P. It should have been a B. Okay, we have a line of credit debt that is behind, I believe, and we have quite a few bills that need to be paid. Greg, is there a way that we can expedite all of this?
Has there been a list of bills prepared as to who are there to be paid to and the amount?
No.
There needs to be a list of bills, who the vendors are. And there needs to be the amount that you're proposing to pay them and what it was for. And that needs to be seen by all the council members and voted upon to pay those. Now that's vendors. Payroll can be approved separately because that's budgeted and is in your, you can approve your payroll. But as far as vendors are concerned, these other bills that need to be paid, the rules would require that there be a list of those listed out. Like I said, who they're to be paid to, how much it is, and what it's for, and all the council members have to approve that to pay the bills. That's what we call paying the bills.
We haven't done that for the past year, but we.
That'll have to be done every month,
Yes.
every month.
So are we able to do anything that would pass paying like the normal bills? Water, electricity, some of the bills I can give you amounts on, not everything because I don't have it on the top of my head. There is a VRS bill that is less than $1,900. It's $1,800 and something, and what VRS is Virginia Retirement System.
Let me suggest something.
Okay.
We're going to be in recess till next Tuesday.
Okay.
That's 1 week.
So
Can we get the bills together and get a list made so council can look at them? We'll
Absolutely.
add that to our agenda so that they can be approved next week. I don't think we need to probably speculate on what they are, how much they are, we need to be certain on them. So I think we get a list so everybody can see what all the council members have the same opportunity to see what you're asking to be paid.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay, may I ask, so we're going to bring Linda Mead in right away, and who will also be watching over her or working with her in the town hall while
That-
she's interim?
That will be covered under town hall operations.
Okay, and will she be doing this up, or are you doing this, Lisa?
What, the
Go
list?
with the bills, with the bills.
That's all gonna be covered under town operations.
Okay, alrighty.
So with that, I would move to table the bills to be paid, are we gonna continue the meeting?
Until our recess meeting on, it'll just be a recess meeting next Tuesday.
Okay, until
That'll
the
be-
recess
that'll be
meeting on
tabled
March
until then.
22nd.
Are we going to recess the rest of the current financial status also?
No, I think we need to do the payroll
Okay,
because that has been something that has not been done in quite some time.
okay.
And, you know, I very much would like for Chris and Cindy to be paid, but we also have the checks for Missy and Kimberly, which the bank did not honor.
And Bo.
And Bo.
And then you also have someone that has been doing the minutes that was hired by the former.
That I do want to cover tonight as well. So can we take that up now? I think now would be a good time.
Okay.
So I know that Kimberly had worked out some sort of deal with Molly to do the minutes. What was the agreement, Molly?
That the minutes, she would pay me $150 per minute, like the minutes for the month. That was the agreement.
Okay, so here's what I would do at this point. I would move to pay Molly $150 for each set of minutes because there are back minutes that are gonna have to be done. Yeah, I would move to pay her $150 for each set of minutes per her agreement with Kimberly previously.
Okay.
And if you could, when you have time, to like go back, like you set a date to go back to, because even like before, there are still missing.
That's something that, I know that we found some of the minutes, let's say for 1 year at this point, Molly.
Okay,
And then anything else we can adjust at the next meeting.
so last January, correct? Like 2020? No,
Um,
this is 2022, 2021, I'm sorry.
March 2021 up to March 2022.
Okay,
You know, there's some months there that there were no meetings, so there's going to be no minutes. But anything beyond that, I'll have an opportunity to look at and we can adjust that at the next meeting.
okay.
Okay. Again, I asked the new council members, do you feel comfortable voting on something like this? Okay. All right, and we will. The motion is,
The motion is to pay Molly to do the minutes from March of 2021 to March of 2022. And any additional minutes that we determine she may need to go back and provide for us, we will adjust at the next meeting via motion.
Is this including special call meetings too? But
Whatever minutes are there.
I just wanted to make
Any
sure.
meeting.
Okay.
all right. Kensley Breen?
Yes.
Glenn Cantrell?
No.
Kristen Foley?
Yes.
Lieber Kennedy?
Yes.
Doris Miller?
Yes.
So moved. Okay,
Would you like me to write on your paper?
please. If you,
I don't have any paper, I apologize.
Kristen, Jim, and
I got some.
Oh, okay. You have a plan. I'll go and check with you this, but you do the rest. Do you need those
Do you have
names?
any motion to pay the meetings?
Lieber moved yours.
Yes. And I did give you an email.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you have any other questions, let me know. Okay,
All right, so in addition, I would make the motion that we pay Chris Wilcox, Cindy Mullins, the pay that they have due, as well as correcting the checks for Kimberly Justice, Melissa Fleming, and I don't know those names,
it's David Yates.
David Gates, that the bank did not honor due to one signature.
And I believe, was there some other checks that also did not clear?
We're gonna have to get the list of those, just, the payroll
Okay, all right.
is what it is.
Is there any discussion on this? Especially with new council, if you're not familiar with what went on at a past meeting, that you'll be voting on right now to do back pay for individuals that were employed. Okay, all right. Molly, would you like to?
Could you reread the motion?
Absolutely. I move to pay Chris Wilcox, Cindy Mullins, Kimberly Justice, Melissa Fleming, and David Yates the pay that they're due, to include the checks that were not honored by the bank due to one signature.
By we, you mean council.
Do what?
Council. The council decides.
Okay, the motion is to pay Chris Wilcox, Cindy Mullins, Kimberly Justice, Missy Fleming, sorry, and David Yates, their checks that were not passed from the bank because of only one signature.
As well as all payroll that's due.
Okay.
And that would be based on, I assume, timesheets that you have, do you have timesheets that have been submitted?
Yeah, and there's some
And that's how you'd be basing the pay from it?
no, this pay was.
Or is it agreed upon pay?
No, this was, Chris and Cindy are salary,
Okay,
and with regard to the others, the council had voted previously to pay them,
so much to do certain things, or so
Well,
much an hour?
it was agreed that they would be paid for 2 weeks' pay
Okay,
once they left employment.
okay. And that actually was passed by council before?
It was.
A prior council.
All right.
Did you want
Yeah. Kinsley Browning,
Yes.
Glenn Cantrell,
Yes.
Kristen Foley,
Yes.
Lieber Kennedy.
Yes. Doris Mullins.
Doris Mullins.
Yes.
I'm just so used to listening online. Okay, I'm sorry, Doris Mullins.
Yes.
Okay. So, okay, you're in that. Do we want to go ahead and talk about the taxes?
These next two,
I would move to table taxes and business license, audits, forensic audits, VRSA, no, not VRSA, VRS, and developing a draft budget. VRSA, I would leave it open, and I can explain that.
You be moving to table these other items
Table D,
not-
E, G, and H to March 22nd.
I wouldn't put anything else on March 22nd besides that.
Besides the training.
Besides the
table.
training and the paper, the bills.
So what about to the April 19th meeting?
Do those move to April, or do you anticipate,
I would say till a recess meeting after the training.
you anticipate having a third meeting, another meeting between the training and April?
Yes.
Okay.
Due to the fact that a draft budget is due the beginning of April.
Yeah, we need to talk about that,
Okay.
about the budget and the process. But that's a little bit too much to bite off tonight, in my view.
Okay. So we're going to table all of that until the April 19th, except for VRSA.
So that would be D, E, G, and H. Those items, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But F, VRSA.
Right, so when I was asking questions of VRSA with regard to the ability to use volunteers, they did say that they have to have, actually it was supposed to be due today, a survey was sent, and I do have that in email. That's something that needs to be filled out and sent back. VRSA is insurance. I also found out that the police department was not on our policy, but they did take care of that when I had them on the phone. So I think somebody needs to fill out that form and get it back to them. And I think maybe Linda could direct us on that. When I spoke with her, she was willing to be here this Friday to try and start working things over and looking at things and seeing where we need to go. So I would move that we allow Linda Mead to help us with that survey so that we can get that into VRSA. They said that they would take it by April 1st because they understood it was a crunch.
Who were you in contact with? Because I had already started some of that paperwork, but I'm fine with just handing it on to Linda Mead. But if I can find out your contact, to make sure that my contact didn't still expect me to do some of the paperwork.
Sure. And it might be the same person, Stacey. Hang on.
I just want to make sure.
Her name's
that we're not
Ann
double-
Chandler.
No, that's not who I was doing, but I will make sure that I let them know that Linda Mead will be handling it. Okay, well, we will, was that all on VRSA?
That's it.
Okay, so if we've gone through all the current financial status, if we could take just a minute to acknowledge those here this evening. Again, I want to welcome the Central.
I think we're still waiting on one girl.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll wait, and if you can just let me know then. All right, well, yes. Okay, so we will wait, and if you could let us know. All right. Appointments to consider / advertise for. This would be any appointments that council considers. We may want to table this since we don't know our financial status.
It just hit me,
Yes.
and this would be relevant under appointments. Who was the vice mayor?
Oh, yes, we.
Who was the vice mayor?
There wasn't one.
It was actually
No.
Marley Green.
Marley was.
All right, was there not a vice mayor, Glenn? All right, there needs to be one appointed tonight.
Okay. And I will tell you that I did reach out I didn't hear back, but what I would like to ask, publicly, we are starting anew, and we all need to be on the same page. So I did reach out an email to ask if Glenn Cantrell would be interested in being the vice mayor, because I feel that we should all be working together. And if Glenn would consider it, we would like that. It would really be something that I think we could all come together on. But I don't know where Glenn stands or what he might consider.
No.
Okay, all right. Well, if there's any other interested
Nominations, ask for
parties?
nominations.
Any nominations?
I nominate
Labor.
Labor.
All right. Is there a second? All right. All right. Is there any discussion? All right. Roll call?
Kenzie Browning.
Yes.
Glenn Cantrell.
Yes.
Kristen Tolan. Yes. Libra Kennedy.
I would abstain.
Oh. And Doris Mullins.
Yes.
So moved.
And just for clarification, the role of the vice mayor is nothing more than to fill in and conduct the meeting in the absence of the mayor. That's what the vice mayor's role is in the town of Pound or any other town, would be whenever the mayor is not able to conduct a meeting or serve as the ceremonial head of a government function, the vice mayor would be the substitute in their stead. So other than that, you get a fancy title even, but
So you all take good notes, because I don't need
so that's it. Well, that, I did want to get that out of the way. Thank you all very much for doing that. That shows good progress as well.
All right. Town hall operations.
I would like to go back to the appointments, because I do think we need to advertise for a part-time clerk treasurer and for a part-time street maintenance person. The weeding is gonna have to be done. Linda's not gonna be here forever. She's only agreed to help us for a limited time, so we do need to advertise for those positions and see what our options are, and maybe interview people at the April meeting.
Okay. Without knowing the budget, how will we afford for these advertisements on positions?
Clerk treasurer's gonna have to happen one way or the other.
Do you have a budget in mind?
Oh, so y'all look at that.
That you want to go ahead and advertise?
Yep. I'll have to figure out what they're getting paid when we get them.
And I would recommend that an advertisement for clerk treasurer, that would be something that we could and probably should refer to VML to draft a notice for us. What do you think about that?
I'm good with that.
I think that's an appropriate assistance that they would offer, that they would draft like a job description. That's one of the things they would do, and they would come up with a proper advertisement for that position, and that could be advertised in. And it should be always advertised. Anything that the town advertises, by the way, by law, should be on your Facebook page, your website if you have one, and the newspaper. And I don't know if you have a website. I know you have a Facebook page, but anyway, whatever you do have, if you have any of those, advertisements should appear there, and they should also be posted on the front door out here at the town hall. But I would suggest that you consider asking VML to draft that position advertisement.
Okay.
Do you send a motion to vote on it?
Yes, yes.
Okay, what is your motion, Rayburn?
I would move that we ask VML to draft and that we utilize what they draft to advertise for the clerk treasurer position on a part-time basis and also for a street maintenance person.
Is the street maintenance part-time or full-time?
I'm going to say part-time at this point because,
Okay.
you know, it has the possibility of being a full-time.
And I also want to mention on the streets and maintenance that the Wise Works program that's conducted through the Commonwealth Attorney's Office uses jail inmates and other folks who are working off fines that are on probation. A lot of the other towns in Wise County are utilizing the Wise Works program. There's a lot of good workers out there that will work and they're required to do so, and that is free labor.
And we have,
Community service work.
we do have people through Wise Works, right, Stacey?
We have
Streets,
4 right now.
streets and maintenance and weed eating and things like that is some of the specialties that they do. So I would just throw that out as information for the council, that one might be a road that you could go that would save you some dollars where you need saving.
I have 2 right now, playground issues over in town bottom.
Great.
So, yes, I've already got them working over there. Right. Any other discussion there? Okay. We do need a
Motion, she made the motion to do that.
Okay.
Can I repeat that back? The motion is to ask VML to draft a notice for the part-time clerk treasurer position and utilize their notice to post for the clerk treasurer position and street maintenance.
Part-time street maintenance.
Part-time.
Street
Yeah.
maintenance person. Worker.
Okay, Kinsley Browning,
Yes.
Glenn Cantrell,
Yes.
Kristen Foley,
Yes.
Cleveland Kennedy,
Yes.
Doris Mullins.
Yes.
So moved. All right. I believe all of the Central basketball players are here now. I would like to recognize all of them by name. Emily Mullins, who is a junior. Bailey Allison, who is a senior. Jillian Sturgill, senior. Okay.
We're going to get.
Okay.
They can hear, they'll make them proud when they hear you call their name.
Well, we definitely want to do that. Okay, we will be calling you all by name, and we're going to have you stand up here, and we're all going to take our picture with you guys. We want to welcome you here. We want to say thank you so much. It is an honor. Emily Mullins, who is a junior. Bailey Allison, senior. Jillian Sturgill, senior. Isabella Sturgill, senior. Abigail Jordan, freshman. Bailey Lawson, junior. Jane Foster, freshman. Emily Brickley, sophomore. Tracy Hopkins, freshman. Kate Jesse, senior. Emma McAmis, freshman. Lexis Sturgill, junior. And Bailey Collins, senior. The managers are Mia Cross, Sarah Sturgill. The coaches, Robin Dotson, Josh Mays, Chad Thompson, and Sophie Ingram.
Good job, ladies! Way to go, girls!
I'm gonna get her behind coach.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck, Mike.
Congratulations, girls.
Look up here.
Gotcha.
Beautiful bunch of girls.
Thank you all so much.
Good job, girls.
Congratulations.